Rain hammered the cracked windows of the servants' quarters as Marina Ellis stood frozen in the grand foyer, clutching a silver serving tray with trembling hands. At 28, she had learned to endure whispers about her plus-size figure, patched-up shoes, and second-hand dresses. But nothing had prepared her for the crystal vase crashing onto the marble floor. The priceless antique shattered into hundreds of glittering pieces. "You've ruined everything!" screamed the estate manager, his voice echoing beneath the towering chandelier. "Do you know how much that was worth?" Every servant stopped moving. Their eyes drifted toward Marina, some filled with pity, others with satisfaction. She hadn't touched the vase. She had seen another maid stumble into the pedestal before slipping away unnoticed, but no one spoke. No one ever defended the newest employee. The manager grabbed Marina's wrist. "You'll pay for this." She looked at the broken glass, then calmly raised her chin despite the humiliation burning her cheeks. "I won't admit to something I didn't do." The room fell silent. Most people surrendered when threatened with losing the only job keeping food on their family's table. Marina did not. She had spent years caring for her late grandmother while secretly building a reputation as an exceptional forensic accountant, solving financial discrepancies for struggling local businesses from an old laptop after long shifts cleaning houses. Numbers never lied, even when people did. Enough. The single word carried such quiet authority that every voice vanished. Heavy footsteps echoed across the marble. The mansion's owner had arrived. Damien Moretti, the billionaire whose name ruled boardrooms and terrified criminal syndicates alike, descended the staircase in a perfectly tailored black suit. His expression revealed nothing, yet the armed security guards instinctively straightened as he approached. People called him the Ghost King of the Moretti Syndicate. He rarely repeated himself. His cold gray eyes settled on Marina. "You broke it." "No. You expect me to believe you?" "I expect you to believe evidence." Several servants exchanged nervous glances. No one spoke to Damien Moretti that way. Instead of shrinking beneath his stare, Marina met it with quiet dignity. "I don't want charity," she said. "Check the security footage. If I'm guilty, I'll leave without asking for another chance." A faint crease appeared between Damien's brows. "Not fear. Logic. Interesting." He nodded once toward his head of security. "Bring me every camera recording from this floor." The manager's confidence disappeared. Minutes later, the footage played across a wall-sized screen in Damien's private office. There it was. Another maid accidentally striking the pedestal before fleeing. Marina hadn't even been close. The room became painfully quiet. Damien's gaze shifted toward the trembling manager. "You're dismissed." The man tried to protest. "Now." Security escorted him away without another word. Marina released a slow breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. "Thank you," she said softly. "I didn't do it for you," Damien replied. "I did it because I despise incompetence." She gave a small nod. "Fair enough." For the first time in years, the corners of Damien's mouth threatened the smallest hint of amusement. Most people begged. Most people cried. She simply accepted justice. Before either of them could speak again, every phone carried by the security team vibrated simultaneously. An urgent voice crackled through an earpiece. "Boss, we've intercepted encrypted traffic. Someone has breached the estate's internal financial network, and they're already inside the mansion." Damien's eyes instinctively moved to Marina, the forensic accountant who had hidden behind a maid's uniform. Without looking away from her, he gave a calm, chilling order. "Lock every exit." The mansion's massive steel doors slammed shut. The mansion fell into lockdown with mechanical precision. Reinforced steel shutters sealed every entrance, while armed guards swept through corridors lined with priceless paintings. Marina stood quietly beside the conference table, suddenly aware that she was no longer just a maid caught in the wrong place. Every suspicious glance reminded her she was still an outsider. Damien Moretti remained unervingly calm. "Everyone stays until we know who breached my network." Several executives exchanged doubtful looks when Damien instructed Marina to join the emergency meeting. "Sir," one senior advisor objected, barely disguising his contempt, "she cleans guest rooms." Damien didn't even turn toward him. "She also exposed a lie within minutes." "That's already more useful than some people in this room." Silence followed. It became the beginning of an unexpected routine. Each morning, Marina continued her housekeeping duties without complaint. She polished antique furniture, arranged fresh flowers throughout the mansion, and greeted every employee with genuine kindness. In the afternoons, Damien quietly summoned her to his private office, where encrypted financial reports and corporate ledgers replaced silver trays and cleaning cloths. He never praised her. He simply watched. Marina studied thousands of transactions with astonishing focus. Numbers formed patterns in her mind like pieces of a puzzle. She noticed duplicated vendor accounts, disguised transfers, and shell companies hidden beneath perfectly legal paperwork. "They're laundering money," she said one evening, sliding a folder toward Damien. He skimmed the pages. "Explain." "The amounts are too small to attract attention individually, but combined over 18 months. She tapped the final spreadsheet. Someone redirected nearly $40 million through companies that don't actually exist. For the first time, Damien looked genuinely impressed. "You found this in 3 hours. I've spent my whole life finding what people hope no one notices." Word spread through the estate faster than either of them expected. Some employees admired Marina's intelligence. Others whispered that she was manipulating the boss. The loudest criticism came from Bianca Romano, Damien's glamorous social companion, who arrived at the mansion wearing a designer gown worth more than Marina had earned in 2 years. She looked Marina up and down before smiling coldly. "So this is the maid everyone suddenly worships." Marina simply smiled. "I'm just doing my job." Bianca expected embarrassment. Instead, she found quiet confidence, and somehow that irritated her even more. Damien noticed everything. He noticed Marina always served everyone else before eating herself. He noticed she thanked security guards by name. He noticed she never apologized for the space she occupied or tried to make herself smaller to satisfy cruel opinions. Late one evening, as rain tapped against the office windows, Damien placed a cup of hot tea beside her without saying a word. Marina looked up in surprise. "You've been working for 6 hours." "So have you." A rare softness crossed his features. "You remind everyone else to rest," he said quietly. "Perhaps someone should remind you." She smiled, a warm, genuine smile that caught him completely off guard. For reasons he refused to examine, it lingered in his thoughts long after she left the room. Hours later, while organizing archived financial records in the basement vault, Marina noticed something strange. One ledger had been deliberately replaced. Hidden behind it was a thin black notebook containing payment codes, warehouse coordinates, and the initials of several trusted members of the Moretti syndicate. At the bottom of the final page, one sentence had been written in red ink. "The Ghost King trusts the wrong man." Before Marina could react, she heard slow footsteps echoing through the dark corridor. Someone else was inside the vault. The lights suddenly went out, and from the darkness came the unmistakable click of a pistol being cocked. Darkness swallowed the vault. Marina froze, clutching the black notebook against her chest as the metallic click echoed only a few feet away. Her pulse thundered, but panic had never helped anyone survive. "Hand me the notebook," a man's voice ordered from the shadows. Slowly. Instead of moving, Marina quietly slid her phone into record mode and pressed the emergency alert Damien's security team had installed on every employee's device after the lockdown. A gunshot shattered the silence. The bullet struck the steel shelf beside her, showering sparks across the floor. Marina dove behind a row of storage cabinets just as the emergency lights flickered to life in deep crimson. Above them, alarms roared through the mansion. Within seconds, Damien Moretti was already moving. "Vault!" he barked, drawing his custom pistol as his security convoy stormed the underground corridor. The attacker knew reinforcements were coming. He abandoned stealth. Automatic gunfire erupted through the hallway. Concrete exploded into clouds of dust while guards returned fire, forcing the masked assassin deeper into the vault. In the chaos, 2 additional gunmen emerged from a maintenance tunnel no one should have known existed. "It was an ambush," one guard shouted. "They have inside information." The realization hit Damien instantly. There was a traitor inside his organization. Amid the crossfire, Marina opened the notebook again. Between coded payment records, she spotted several warehouse numbers matching the shell companies she had uncovered. One sequence repeated beside today's date. "It's not just an attack," she yelled. They're using this assault as a distraction. These account numbers authorize a transfer from your emergency security fund. If it goes through, every armored checkpoint protecting the eastern estate will shut down. Damien understood immediately. Without those funds, the rival syndicate could enter the compound within minutes. He tossed his encrypted tablet toward her. Can you stop it? I'll need 90 seconds. You have 60. Ignoring the bullets ricocheting around her, Marina connected to the financial network. Her fingers flew across the screen with astonishing speed, tracing the fraudulent authorization through layers of encrypted accounts. There! She reversed the transaction, locked every compromised account, then inserted a digital trail that identified the insider's access credentials. Done! At that exact moment, Damien's men eliminated the remaining attackers. The surviving assassin tried to escape through the maintenance tunnel. Damien fired once. The man's weapon slid across the concrete before security pinned him to the ground. Silence finally returned. Dust drifted through the crimson emergency lights. Damien crossed the ruined vault and stopped in front of Marina. You stayed. She looked at the shattered walls surrounding them. So did you. For several long seconds, neither of them spoke. Then, without hesitation, Damien removed his tailored suit jacket and gently draped it over her shoulders. It was warm, carrying the faint scent of cedar and expensive cologne. You were shaking, he said quietly. I am now. You waited until everyone else was safe. She lowered her eyes. I've always believed fear can wait. Something inside Damien shifted. People had admired his wealth, feared his power, wanted his influence. Marina had risked her life simply because innocent people depended on her decisions. The following evening, a velvet box appeared outside her bedroom door. Inside rested an elegant platinum bracelet engraved on the inside with 4 simple words. Never shrink yourself again. As Marina traced the inscription with trembling fingers, a faint smile touched her lips. Far below, hidden beyond the estate walls, a sniper adjusted his rifle scope toward the illuminated mansion. His target was no longer Damien Moretti. It was the woman who had become the greatest threat to the conspiracy. 1 week after the failed ambush, the Moretti estate transformed into the most heavily guarded venue in the city. Crystal chandeliers illuminated an extravagant charity gala attended by international CEOs, politicians, and influential mafia families. Every guest expected Damien Moretti to arrive alone. Instead, he entered the ballroom with Marina at his side. She wore an elegant emerald green designer gown tailored to celebrate her curves rather than hide them. The platinum bracelet rested gracefully on her wrist, its hidden inscription known only to her. Conversation stopped as hundreds of eyes followed them across the marble floor. Bianca Romano's smile vanished. The maid, she whispered bitterly. Damien heard her. Without breaking stride, he replied, No. Miss Ellis is my financial advisor. The words landed harder than any public insult Bianca had ever received. Marina felt every stare, every judgment, yet she refused to lower her head. She greeted investors with calm confidence, discussed charitable housing initiatives with philanthropists, and effortlessly explained complex financial strategies during a private business summit. Her knowledge left seasoned executives scrambling to keep pace. Even the heads of allied syndicates exchanged approving glances. One elderly mafia patriarch chuckled. The Ghost King finally found someone with a sharper mind than his own. For the first time in years, Damien accepted the compliment without argument. Later that evening, the Moretti family gathered for an exclusive dinner reserved only for trusted blood relatives and senior captains. Several family members questioned Marina's presence. She's not one of us, Damien's uncle declared. Damien calmly set down his wineglass. Anyone who protects this family with loyalty has earned a seat at my table. No one challenged him again. Marina looked toward him, unable to hide her surprise. You didn't have to do that, she whispered. Yes, Damien answered softly. I did. The warmth in his voice lingered between them long after the conversation ended. But while music echoed through the ballroom above, betrayal was already unfolding beneath the mansion. The access credentials Marina had uncovered belonged not to a low-ranking employee. They belonged to Luca Moretti, Damien's cousin, trusted advisor, and the man responsible for overseeing the family security network. By the time Damien reached the surveillance room, Every monitor had gone black. Explosions ripped through the estate. The lights failed. Smoke poured into the corridors as armed mercenaries stormed the mansion from 3 separate entrances. It was all planned, Marina realized. The gala gathered every leader in one place. Gunfire erupted throughout the estate. Guests screamed. Security teams fought room by room as chaos consumed the celebration. "Luca!" Damien roared. His cousin appeared at the top of the grand staircase, surrounded by rival syndicate soldiers. "You built an empire through fear," Luca called down with a mocking smile. "Tonight, you watch it fall." Before Damien could fire, another explosion shattered the marble staircase between them. The blast separated him from Marina. Masked kidnappers seized her in the confusion, forcing her toward an armored vehicle waiting beyond the burning courtyard. She struggled but noticed one kidnapper transmitting coordinates over an encrypted radio. Memorizing the frequency in seconds, she deliberately repeated a false confirmation code she had learned while studying the syndicate's financial communications. The rival convoy immediately split into different escape routes, believing their own commander had changed the extraction plan. The mistake bought precious time. Damien fought through waves of attackers, desperate to reach her. "Marina!" Their eyes met across the smoke-filled courtyard. She reached toward him. A masked gunman slammed the vehicle door shut. The convoy sped into the night as flames consumed the mansion behind them. Damien dropped to one knee amid the burning ruins, the platinum bracelet's empty velvet box still lying in his office upstairs. For the first time in his life, the man feared by every criminal empire realized there was one battle his wealth, power, and reputation could not guarantee he would win. The woman who had become the heart of his world was gone. The city awoke to headlines about a mysterious explosion at the Moretti estate, but the truth remained hidden beneath silence and fear. Damien Moretti ignored every business call, every plea from his allies, and every demand for revenge. There was only one mission that mattered now: bring Marina home. Using the false radio code Marina had deliberately transmitted during her kidnapping, Damien's intelligence team uncovered the rival syndicate's hidden fortress inside an abandoned coastal shipyard. What they believed was a flawless escape route had become the trail that would destroy them. Before dawn, a convoy of armored vehicles surrounded the compound. A helicopter thundered overhead while Moretti soldiers advanced through the fog. "The Ghost King is here," whispered terrified guards. The final war began. Gunfire erupted across the docks. Explosions shook rusting cargo containers as Damien led the assault from the front, refusing to hide behind his men. One by one, enemy defenses collapsed. Inside the command center, Marina sat restrained but undefeated. She had spent 2 days memorizing financial ledgers, shipment schedules, and encrypted communications left carelessly on nearby computers. Quietly, she rewired the building's security network, locking blast doors behind the rival soldiers and triggering emergency systems that trapped dozens of armed mercenaries in their own corridors. When the firefight reached the control room, Marina broke free using a loose metal bracket she had spotted hours earlier. She uploaded every file exposing the rival syndicate's money laundering, bribery, and trafficking network to secure government servers. "They can't erase the evidence now," she whispered. The empire built on corruption began collapsing before the battle had even ended. Damien burst through the shattered doors moments later. Their eyes met. Without hesitation, he crossed the room and wrapped her in his arms. "You came," Marina breathed. "There isn't a place on this earth where I wouldn't." Before they could leave, Luca Moretti emerged from the smoke, wounded but smiling bitterly. "You would throw away an empire for her?" Damien raised his weapon. "No." He lowered it again. "I would build a better one because of her." Security officers arrested Luca as police units, guided by Marina's evidence, flooded the compound. Bianca's role in the conspiracy was exposed. The corrupt executives lost everything they had stolen. Every traitor received the justice they had believed they could outrun. Weeks later, the rebuilt Moretti estate opened its gates once again. This time, the celebration wasn't a charity gala. It was a wedding. Marina walked through the gardens in a breathtaking ivory gown designed to honor every beautiful curve she had once been taught to hide. Damien waited beneath a canopy of white roses, his usually unreadable eyes filled with unmistakable emotion. Taking her hands, he spoke softly enough that only she could hear. "You never needed to become someone else to deserve this life." A tear slipped down Marina's cheek. And you taught me that love protects instead of controls. Before their closest friends and newly united family, they exchanged vows built on trust, respect, and unwavering devotion. In the months that followed, Marina became Damien's equal partner, overseeing the syndicate's legitimate global businesses and transforming the family's influence into a force for justice and opportunity. No one called her the Maid anymore. They called her the Queen of the Moretti Empire. Every time Damien looked at her, he saw the woman who had refused to shrink herself, and in doing so, had changed the course of his life forever. As the sun set behind the estate, he kissed her hand and smiled. "Home was never this mansion," he whispered. "Home was always you." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unforgettable Billionaire Mafia romances. And tell us in the comments, what was your favorite moment? Marina standing up for herself, Damien's unwavering devotion, or the final battle that changed everything?